Hey, and welcome to another edition of Agent Spotlight. Today I'm joined with Fonda Kline. She is one of our top agents here at KW. And we're going to just have a conversation about how she got started, her big why, and some other things that she may have faced in getting into real estate. Thank you for joining me today, Fonda.
Thank you for having me.
So Fonda, tell us about you. Tell us about what makes Fonda and all the things.
Well, I am married. I have been married for 19 years. We have 3 kids. We have a college student, a senior, and a sophomore. We have been in Monroe for 22 years.
Wow.
22 years, yeah. I am from the great big city of Tallulah.
Wow, okay.
And I am one that really believes in giving back. So we help a lot of different organizations from the schools and from church. So I am one to really give back. I have been a KW agent for 10 years.
Wow.
10 years.
That's so awesome.
It is. It went by fast too.
Time goes fast when you're having fun, right?
Yes, Lord. So it just started going by fast.
So tell me about your big why. Like, what'd you do before real estate, and what made you get into real estate?
Okay, so the job that I had before, I had several jobs before. I worked at Home Depot, I worked at Lowe's, but right before real estate, I was recruited from the bank. At that particular time, it was Community Trust Bank. Now it's Origin Bank. I was there for 3 years, so that's where I was recruited from to be an assistant in the beginning. So I was recruited by Tiffany Smith. I think I was her assistant for about a year, and then I got my license.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what's your big why? Like,
my big why will always and forever be my family, especially my husband. I needed to be able to match his energy because he worked so hard. He was military, he was post office, he was driving from here to there. So I needed to be able to match his income.
Right.
And I needed to be able to match his energy because I knew that we had goals for ourselves and for those kids, and just had different things that we wanted to put in play by the time they started going off to college. So yeah, that's my big why.
Gotcha.
And then to be able to give back, because we take in a lot of families. We see a lot of things. I think I'm just used for to be able to bless others, because we come across so many people, or I'll have a text out of the blue that says, hey, can you help a family, or different things of that nature. So being able to give back, that's the biggest why, because I always tell anybody that is around me for years or months, it's a blessing to be a blessing. So my family has it embedded in them, and yeah, it's just a blessing to be a blessing.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
So you are our chairman for our KW Cares local.
Yes.
And tell us about what KW Cares. Somebody may not know what
KW Cares. It's fitting for me because I am a giver. It's challenging because this is my very first time actually not only being on the ALC, but actually taking over this role. So this is a very challenging role. However, there's so many people that I've had to lean on for understanding, but KW Cares is exactly what it says. It's giving back. It's being able to extend to those that are in need, being able to give to them, being able to walk them through some things. So KW Caring is it's very awarding. It's an awarding spotlight. So I love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So Fonda, like she was just saying, she's part of our ALC. She's a top agent, and the ALC is Agent Leadership Council.
Yes.
And with Agent Leadership Council, we meet once a month. Sometimes we have Zoom calls or other things where we have situations where we need to talk and discuss some matters within our office, and they help us make decisions. And you have to be selected to be on the ALC.
Yes.
And she was one of our top agents and is on our ALC, helps run our KW Care. She heads that up as well. One thing that I want to have just a conversation about, KW is all about communication, seek first to understand.
Yes.
and you grow into the conversations around you, right?
Yes, you do.
And one thing that people are uncomfortable talking about sometimes is racism.
Yes.
And so I want to have just a brief conversation with you on how being a black woman getting into real estate. There's some people out there going to be watching this. How can you encourage them in that moment? Teach us. Talk to us.
I would definitely say the best way to stay the course is to just have the tough conversations. You have to be able to pull some things out of some people that may not be ready for it, or may be ready for it and just don't want to have the conversation.
Sure.
So anything that makes you uncomfortable is what you need to go towards, because if it makes you that uncomfortable, you need to be able to address it. Nothing should have that much power over you that you're able to just sit on it. It bothers you, but you can't talk about it.
Right.
So being that I've been a black woman in real estate, you kind of, I don't really think it's more or less in the beginning of a racist thing. I believe it's more like I've been here, because, okay, I'm just going to say from my experience.
Please.
It's more or less, I've been here for 15 or 20 years. This is where you do it. So I've even had somebody say gal, and that really bothers me.
Oh, man.
Yes. So I don't think it was a racist thing. We're more of a racist thing than more of an arrogant thing. I felt at that particular time it was like, you listen to me because you just got here, or you don't have that many years of experience under your belt, so you don't know what you're talking about, or you just won't be heard. Generally, it comes from men, and it comes from the older white men in our field of work. So I've never really had it with anybody at KW from that perspective, but it's very thick in the other fields around us. So you just address it. If it makes you uncomfortable at that moment, if you can't talk about it, if it's too much to handle in that moment, then you just take a moment. If that means a day or two, or you address it with your broker so they can address it, but you have to be able to address it in order to be able to deal with it, or so it won't weigh you down.
Right.
So you have to be able to have the conversation.
That's right.
And so that's what I encourage anybody to do, is to have the conversation.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
Well, I'm so glad and honored to have you here today.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
We're so proud of you and for what you do, what you've done, not only with just KW, but in the school system, helping others, families, all the things. You bleed KW. That's, the heart of KW is to serve and to help others. And thank you for joining me today. And we wish you the best of luck in the future for your business and your family and all the things.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for joining us today. We'll see you on the next time.
All right.